Have you ever stopped to think that maybe the real reason you can't lose weight? Not be the lack of diet, willpower, or time, but yes, 4 common foods you still insist on eating every day? That's right. It may seem absurd, but these ingredients that seem harmless are, in fact, the biggest saboteurs of your fat burning. And the person who proved this in practice was none other than Jonah Hill, the Hollywood actor who always fought against the accordion effect and criticism for being overweight, decided to do something different. No fad diet, no medicine. He lost 30 kilos in a natural and healthy way, and it all started when he cut these 4 foods of his routine. And the most shocking thing is that they are on most Americans' tables, maybe even on their plates now. If you want real weight loss, one that transforms your body and self-esteem without suffering, stay with me. Because what you will discover here could be the push you needed for your journey to finally start working. Jonah Hill, who you probably know from comedy films, has always been seen as the funny guy, but also as the Hollywood chubby guy. What no one saw behind the laughter was how much he suffered from his weight, low self-esteem, and the famous accordion effect. For years, he tried everything, diet after diet, miracle promises, quick fixes that only worked for a few weeks. Nothing was sustainable. The truth is that he was trapped in a cycle where he would lose weight, gain weight again, get frustrated, and give up. Until one day, he decided to get to the root of the problem. And no, it wasn't with medication, intense training, or extreme fasting. Jonah understood that he needed to change what he put on his plate. Or rather, what he needed to take off it. And that's when it all started to make sense. He decided to eliminate 4 foods that, even though they were common, were completely sabotaging his health, energy, and ability to lose weight. The result? He dried 30 kilos, a visible change in the body and even more profound in the mind. Because when your diet changes, everything changes, including the way we see ourselves. And that's exactly what you need to understand now. And that's why, if you're really committed to achieving healthy, quick, and permanent weight loss, you need to pay close attention to what comes now. Because today, you're going to find out exactly which 4 foods Jonah Hill completely cut out of his routine. And we're not talking about anything difficult or impossible. These are common items that you may consume without even realizing how much they are delaying your results. These foods are true fat-burning villains. They inflame the body, increase insulin spikes, and sabotage any attempt to lose weight, even when you do everything right. Jonah didn't just eliminate these foods, he did it with awareness and strategy. And that's why he managed to lose 30 kilos without going hungry, without going crazy, and without living on salad. And the best part, you can do the same thing starting today. That's right, even today you can take the first step towards your new body. And at the end, as a bonus, I'll show you what he put in place of these foods to speed up the process even more. And it was exactly at this point that Jonah Hill understood that the key to lasting weight loss lay in the simplest choices, but also the most sabotaging. And no, he didn't start by cutting everything at once. He started with awareness. He looked at what was really part of his routine and asked himself, what is keeping me here? The first answer was clear: sweets. Donuts, candies, ready-made cakes, processed desserts, everything that seemed harmless, but hid a high content of refined sugar and trans fat. These foods are extremely addictive. They activate areas of the brain linked to immediate pleasure, creating a cycle of addiction. Every time you eat, you feel a spike of pleasure and then a drop in energy. This creates more desire to eat again, and the cycle repeats itself. Plus, sugar and trans fat increase inflammation, disrupt hunger hormones, and mess with your insulin, the main hormone involved in fat storage. Jonah knew that continuing this was like trying to run with the brakes on. Then he cut. Just like that. No middle ground. He decided to abandon these foods for good, understanding that each bite was costing more than the momentary pleasure. Soon after, he attacked another silent enemy of weight loss, beer. And maybe here you think, but it's only on weekends. Because it is exactly this just that accumulates. Beer is one of the most insidious drinks when it comes to weight loss. Liquid calories, full of bad carbohydrates, which do not satisfy you, but exceed your daily caloric intake. Furthermore, it directly affects metabolism, reduces the body's ability to burn fat, and when consumed in excess, even interferes with testosterone production and hormonal balance as a whole. Jonah cut it off completely. He understood that there was no point in doing everything right during the week and sabotaging everything on Saturday with a few cans. It was a conscious decision. He swapped drinking for more hydration, for teas, for other forms of pleasure and relaxation that don't involve alcohol. And with that, it accelerated the fat-burning process even more. Then came what is perhaps the most common in the lives of those who want to lose weight, but live on autopilot. Fast food. Ready-made burgers, fries, sauces full of preservatives, nuggets, soft drinks. Jonah Hill cut all of this out without thinking twice. These foods are inflammatory bombs. They are rich in hydrogenated vegetable fat, refined flours, hidden sugar, and a lot of sodium. And the worst, they are made to get you addicted. The fast food industry works exactly for this, creating an experience that is quick, pleasurable, accessible, and difficult to resist. And this destroys any weight loss plan. Jonah understood that it wasn't about will, it was about environment, and he decided to remove these elements from his environment. He stopped going to places where it was easy to give in to temptation, avoided ordering via apps, and focused on re-educating his palate with real food. And little by little, without neurosis, his body began to respond. The energy went up, the swelling went down, the mood returned, and the weight started to come off. Finally, he looked closely at what seems healthy, but in practice only makes things worse. Highly processed foods, cereal bars full of glucose syrup, sliced bread with preservatives and 20 ingredients on the label, fit yogurts with more sugar than soda. Jonah realized that everything that came in packaging, with a giant list of strange ingredients, was no longer useful. He went back to basics. He started cooking more, prioritizing fresh, natural, minimally processed foods. He made smart swaps: white rice for brown rice, ready-made sauces for natural seasonings, industrialized snacks for nuts and fruits. And he realized that, yes, it was possible to eat well, feel pleasure, and still lose weight. The secret was in simplicity, and it was this decision to stop sabotaging himself with what seemed harmless that made him lose 30 kg without extreme restrictions. These 4 foods he cut out are common. They are in the markets, on apps, in meetings with friends, in the daily lives of those who live on automatic. But if you want real, sustainable, and pain-free weight loss, this is where you start. When you remove what sabotages you, your body can finally do what it was born to do: function well, with health, energy, and balance. And now that you know what Jonah took off the plate to transform his body, it's time to find out what he started, to put in its place. Because it's not enough to just cut. You also need to nourish. And that's when the game really turns. And the craziest thing about all this is that there are still people who believe that to lose weight they need to suffer. That it is necessary to go hungry, cut out everything you like, live on a liquid diet, or eat only leaves for lunch. But the truth is very different. And Jonah Hill showed this in practice. He didn't lose 30 kilos because he deprived himself of everything, but because he made conscious choices. He understood that the problem was never eating too much, but eating wrong. What destroys your results is not quantity, but quality. It's not the volume of food on your plate, but the hidden ingredients that sabotage your body every day. Disguised sugar, refined flours, preservatives, bad oils. This is what slows down your metabolism, inflames your cells, and prevents your body from burning fat naturally. When you remove this junk food from your routine, not only does your body begin to debloat, but your mind clears, your disposition increases, and your mood improves. Healthy weight loss is not punishment, it is liberation. It's choosing foods that work for you, not against you. And when you understand this, everything changes. You stop thinking about dieting as a burden and start seeing it as a path to transformation. And if you think this change is difficult, think about this. Jonah Hill was an ordinary guy, full of bad habits, who turned the key with simple decisions. And if it worked for him, why wouldn't it work for you? The first step is to believe that there is another way, a light, conscious, and intelligent way to achieve the body you want without giving up your health, your energy, and your pleasure in eating well. If this kind of truth is opening your mind and you feel that more people need to understand this too, then be part of this change. Click the like button, subscribe to the channel, and help this message reach those who are still stuck in the same mistakes. The trigger here is clarity, and clarity changes everything. Now that you understand which foods Jonah Hill completely cut out of his routine to unlock weight loss and finally lose 30 kg, it's time to show you what he put in its place. Because real weight loss doesn't just come from what you take off your plate, but mainly from what you put on it. This is where the bonus that many people ignore comes in. Foods that become allies for your metabolism, your satiety, and your energy. And that's where the game changes. Jonah didn't replace crap with suffering. He chose to eat well. He started to put together a dish with strategy, pleasure, and real nutrition. One of the foods he started to consume frequently was sushi. It may seem simple, but this choice is logical. It is a light meal with clean sources of protein, almost no bad fat, and a controlled amount of carbohydrates. In other words, ideal for those who want to lose weight without feeling full or guilty afterwards. Another item that became a sure presence on his menu was grilled fish, especially salmon, always well seasoned with garlic and onion, without ready-made sauces, without processed ones. In addition to being a high-quality protein, salmon is rich in omega-3, a good fat that helps reduce inflammation in the body, accelerates muscle recovery, and enhances the burning of abdominal fat. Furthermore, salads and colorful vegetables became the basis of Jonah's meals. They are rich in fiber, vitamins, minerals, and help regulate the intestine, increase satiety, and improve digestion. This combo alone changes the game completely. But he didn't stop there. Lean proteins also came into play. Grilled chicken, eggs, lean cuts of meat. All of this became part of his routine in a simple, practical way and with little impact on insulin, which is essential for anyone who wants to lose weight in a healthy way without hunger or anxiety spikes. These choices are not radical, they are conscious. They are based on balance, consistency, and the search for a healthy body that functions well, with energy and lightness in everyday life. Jonah realized that eating well is not about desperately counting calories, but rather about giving your body the nutrients it needs to function as a machine that burns fat naturally. And now that you've seen what he put in place of the food he cut, it's time to understand how it all connects to the next step that will take you even further. And the most interesting thing is to realize that there was no secret, magic formula or hidden method behind Jonah Hill's transformation. What happened was a choice, a decision to stop sabotaging yourself with foods that inflame, addictive, and slow down your metabolism, and start feeding your body with what it really needs to function well. And this doesn't require money. a restricted diet, or an impossible lifestyle. It demands clarity. Clarity to look at what's on your plate today and understand that each food there is either helping or delaying your results. Jonah Hill didn't lose weight because he desperately counted calories or because he was hungry. He lost weight because he removed junk food from his routine and put real food in its place. And this not only changed his body, but also the way he saw himself in the mirror, how he related to his own image, to his daily energy, to his sleep, to his mood. Healthy weight loss has this power. It goes beyond the physical. It affects your self-esteem, your mood, the way you approach your days. And it all starts with simple choices. Swap fast food for a colorful dish. Swap the weekend beer for consistent hydration. Swap that bread full of preservatives for a well-prepared lean protein. These are small decisions, but accumulated every day build a big, real, and lasting result. The body you want doesn't have to come with suffering, guilt, or restrictions. It can come with balance, constancy, and lightness. And that's what Jonah Hill understood, that the secret wasn't in cutting everything out, but in stopping insisting on what doesn't work. And that, when you allow yourself to make these changes, the body begins to respond. The inflammation goes away, the energy returns, and the weight simply starts to fall, almost as a result. Because the body doesn't want to store fat. He only does this when he's mistreated, inflamed, malnourished. But when you take care of it with real food, it returns that care in the form of health, disposition, and lightness. And that's exactly what I want you to understand now, because the next step is what will keep you on this path with consistency. There are things that we hear, and we simply can't pretend we don't know anymore. After everything you've seen so far, tell me honestly, which of these foods are still part of your routine? Which ones do you continue to consume, even though you know they are sabotaging your weight loss? Donuts for an afternoon snack? That harmless beer on the weekend? A fast food during the week? Well, it's time to face it head on. Your body will only change when you change your choices. Jonah Hill decided to break this cycle and showed that it is possible to transform your body, health, and self-esteem just by changing what you put on your plate. So, now it's up to you. I want to know which of these saboteurs you will eliminate first. Comment below and tell me what was the turning point for you in this video. And if this content is helping you, click like, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who needs this truth. This is about responsibility. With yourself, with your body, and with those who also need to awaken to this path. If you want to continue at this pace and apply more practical changes today, run now to watch the video where I show you the 5 simple foods that made Chris Pratt lose 27 kilos, and that you probably already have at home. But watch it soon, because the longer you put it off, the more your body feels it. I'll wait for you there. Those who are still stuck in the same mistakes. The trigger here is clarity. And clarity changes everything.